All right, looks like we live. All right, hello everyone. Good evening. Hope everyone is having an amazing evening, day. I wish you nothing but success. We got another very, very important live coming to you. One of my good brothers. I think he just got on, so let me try to invite him up. Always got trouble doing this. Should have got the invite, Tim. Let me see. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. There we go, my guy. What's going
What's
on?
good? What's good, Ryan? How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. How about you?
Man, I can't complain. Just sitting here working on some new content. Just getting some things together, man. My lease is coming up in my office, and we've been wanting to purchase a commercial property. So we're debating if we should pursue that process or renew for another year in a smaller location because it's really just me and my attorney. So we'll figure it out. We'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
can do it. I suggest you do it, but
Yes, it's interesting right now. You know, commercial real estate is so much more different than residential. You know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting, but Dallas will be a good place to have it. So we're gonna see how it's gonna work out.
All right, man. So, definitely glad to hear that. I'm glad to have this conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? One of my good brothers. Been doing amazing work and, just killing out here in the community. And you killing it with the content too. I see you. So I see some folks joining. Do me a favor, y'all. Drop a comment down. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Got people all over the world. I know to watch these lives. We got Tim Jackson on tonight. So for those that don't know you, if they've been hiding under a rock, like who is Tim Jackson? I'm curious about your background. I don't know too much about your background, but a little bit. But if you want to share a little bit about that.
Well, listen, thank you so much, Ryan. First and foremost, I want to thank you for having me on today. Shout out to everybody that's watching. I see some people joining in from both of our pages. If you're watching from my page, make sure you follow Ryan. Ryan is the man when it comes to setting up your funnels for your business website. I've reached out to Ryan. He's helped me out so much in my business. Shout out to the Coin Father, just jumped on with us too. And if you're watching me from Ryan's page, by all means, give me a follow. Would love to connect with you. But my name is Tim Jackson, Mr. Purpose on Demand, Mr. Retired 37. I'm a real estate broker by trade, an author of a book titled Real Dope, an in-depth comparison between real estate and the dope game. In the process of filming a documentary, we just wrapped up film production. So now we're in the editing phase called How to Kill a Black Man. So I'm excited about that. Former zoning commissioner here in Dallas, Texas, District 7. The president of Real Youth Mentoring, a mentoring program that's designed to teach young boys 10 to 18 entrepreneurship, leadership, and how to be better citizens within the community. And I just talk about purpose all day, every day, purpose, business. My platform is, purpose, paper, purpose, parenting, and paper is what I be talking about. So, man, holla at me. I see my girl Rory in here, a couple people who have kids in the mentoring program. Shout out to you. So that's who I am.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to Lamar in here. Like Tim said, if you've come in from my page, definitely give him a follow. His brother's doing amazing work, and I'm definitely curious on like the beginning stages. He said known through Oak Cliff.
Lamar from the Grove, man. I ain't from the Cliff, but the Cliff know me. We actually ran our nonprofit in Oak Cliff for 6 years, so they definitely know me in the Cliff.
Shout out to the Cliff. I don't know much about Dallas. The only thing I don't like about Dallas is the Cowboys.
Hey, man, we ain't gonna hold that against you, man. We ain't gonna hold it. 5-1 is always a better odds. You know what I'm saying? 5-1. You know what that means. 5-1. Well, yeah.
I mean, at least we got one in the new millennium. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, even a blind squirrel can find a nut sometimes, right?
But like I said, I'm definitely curious on like how like all this got started. You know what I mean? Like, did you always want to get into real estate? Did you start at a young age as an entrepreneur? Was like you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? Did you work, corporate or 9 to 5 first and then transition? Like, I'm definitely curious on like the beginnings of your entire professional career.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when I was in the 10th grade, I had a friend of mine. We're still friends until this day. She's a cheerleader at the school. She always had all the new clothes. She was the first person that you knew in school that had a car. You know what I'm saying? But what really intrigued me about her was the availability of her mother. Her mother seemed to always be available at football games, pep rallies. I mean, we would have stuff during the day, and her mom would always be there. And my mom worked for the government, so she had a typical, 9 to 5, had to work Monday through Friday, some weekends, couldn't get off, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just asked her one day, because my mother, not that she didn't come to the things that we had going on, but she always had to be set at a job. And I said, man, what does your mother do for a living? She said, she's a real estate broker. I was like, what is that? I had no clue. And this is back in the day, Ryan. This is when we had the AOL CDs. You get the 15 free minutes of internet. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't just get on Google.
The dial-up.
Yeah. The dial-up. You couldn't talk on the phone. You remember you be on the internet, somebody picked the phone up, it was over. And so so I went to the library at school and just researched what a real estate broker was. And I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to get into real estate. Shout out to my man Sean, who was with me in Alaska in the military. So graduated high school, went to the military, was stationed in Alaska, got a chance to get deployed, came back home and got a job really quick because I was a veteran. Got a job in banking and in finance, actually. And so it's still in the back of my mind. I want to be in real estate. I want to get in real estate. I want to sell. I want to figure out what this real estate thing is. So I ended up getting a license, but I never really used my license until I got fired from a job. I needed to make some bread, right? So, I sold homes, but then I always kept a job and I would sell houses to my coworkers. Then I got a broker's license, and then I started my own business, and they just kind of went up from there. When I turned 30 years old, I had what we call a life-changing event. My son was born. I had change of employment. There was a lot going on at the time. And I said, you know what, I got to really commit to this real estate thing. And so, for 7 years strong, man, I just built a really successful business in real estate and, put me in a position to, retire at the age of 37 through, my real estate sales, real estate investing and stuff like that.
I love that. I hope y'all taking notes. Man said he retired at 37. If y'all want to retire at 37 or you're like, I'm still working, I want to retire, drop something in the chat. Definitely let us know. And real estate is something that I'm still trying to dabble into and get into. I know funnels, I know digital marketing. I do have a finance background. I worked in stocks and investments and mutual funds, and real estate is still the one that I need to add, to the portfolio and more and stuff like that. So what was that like actually building the real estate business? I'm sure you had tons of challenges. What other tips do you have for people that are just getting started or just want to learn more? What was like the real estate part like?
Man, it was interesting because one, there's not too many black male real estate brokers in Dallas. Like, real estate is a heavily female dominated industry. A lot of people, they realize it, but a lot of people don't say it out loud. Like, when you go to real estate conferences, it's mostly women. And even when you're in the field, it's mostly women. But you never really saw a lot of black male real estate brokers, right? It's only a handful of us, right? We all know each other, which is weird, And so my thing was I wanted to put as many people in real estate as I could and teach them how to do it the right way. So I put a lot of people in real estate here in Dallas. Like, I always tell people, if you know someone that got their real estate license between 2005 and 2021, and they're black and they from Dallas, there's a good chance that I spoke with them, before they got their license. So, just building a team, getting around the right people, having the right systems. I was hiring a bunch of people that I knew and that I loved, and that was a big mistake because typically the people that you know and love will never help you make money. And that's nothing personal against them. It's just they don't see you as a professional, so they're not going to take your purpose seriously. It just is what it is, right? And when it comes time to be authoritative, it's going to always be some personal feelings involved because I'm a bit of an a-hole in business. Like, I like to have fun. I like to joke around. But when it comes to my business and my money, I'm a different kind of breed, right?
Right.
So, I'm like Dollar Bill. I need my 30%. You know what I'm saying? So, when I brought my wife into the business, like, my wife, I always tell people, people tolerated me, but they loved her, right? Because she was the person that was the softer, gentler person that people wanted to deal with. But when it was time to really get with the business, when it was time to have the tough conversation, it was always me. And I always delivered it in such a way that made people feel confident and for people to trust me. A lot of people trusted me because they knew that Tim is not going to, one, purchase something that he wouldn't buy himself, but two, he's not going to give me any bad advice, because for me, it's not about selling you one house. It's about teaching you to be an investor. You know, with all the stuff going on in Dallas, I was shouting out, buy real estate in Oak Cliff, buy real estate in Pleasant Grove, buy real estate in East Dallas, buy real estate South Dallas. And people here just were like, I don't want to live there. Like, no, I never said live there. I said buy.
Right.
10 years later, we have a housing shortage, right? And all these people like, man, you got them houses in South Dallas? Like, no. We bought them when we told y'all not to. Now we got them rented out. You understand what I'm saying? And so the biggest, I would say, you know, just getting the right people, the right systems, and stepping out of my comfort zone and getting to know new people. You know, getting around people who are perfect strangers, because I come from that mentality of, you know, I made a recent video that Drake lied to us because he told us no new friends, right? But that's the biggest lie in the world, because those new friends are not going to get you to that next level. I mean, those old friends are going to get you to the next level.
Right.
It's the new friends that's going to take you to, that's going to add that extra comma to your network. So once I start getting around new people coming to TSP, I'll never be the guy who doesn't give credit. I'm going to always give credit where credit's due. Coming to places like TSP and different live events where I could meet real people doing real things, it gave me a different perspective on my business. I was able to take my business to a different level. Just being in the room with different people at events like those and getting out of my comfort zone.
I hope y'all listening. Definitely get around new people, networking. Like, that's how me and Tim met. You know,
How we met.
At Boyce Watkins and, you know, TSP and Lamar and stuff like that. You know, so definitely that's so important.
When I met Boyce, I want to say I met Lamar through Boyce. I'd never heard of Lamar Tyler. Lamar
was through Boyce, honestly.
And Lamar was killing it though, wasn't he?
Yeah,
but we met him through Boyce. Like I was, and then, you know, the relationship I built with Boyce, bringing him out to Dallas to speak, and then him inviting me to go speak at different engagements. But I met Lamar through Boyce. You see what I'm saying? And guys like Andre through Boyce. You see what I'm saying? So those connections are huge, man. I would have never met those people. Andre's made me so much money over the last 7 years.
Me too.
Andre and Erica Williams have gave me so many plays to run, but it's all through connections. I would have never met them had I never shown up.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Andre Hatcher. Somebody tag him. Brother Dre, where you at? You definitely need you on here. But yeah, same thing for me. Like, yeah, I found out about Boyce through, like, I think I told him the Breakfast Club or something. So I was like, who is this dude? Like, he talking some shit. Like, he's not talking about what the average person's talking about and cliche stuff. I was like, you know, like, who is this dude? So I was checking him out. I think I took like his Black Wealth boot camp or something like that.
Yeah, me too. That's how he got me too. Right. You know, in a good way. You know what I'm saying? That's how he got me hooked in.
Right. And then I think Lamar came and spoke at one of the.
He did. Yeah.
Something like that.
Like, so we literally have the same trajectory. I found Boyce through the Breakfast Club, I think, and then got the boot camp, then met Lamar, then, yeah, same trajectory, man.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, I seen Lamar speak. I don't know if Lamar's still on, but, and I was like, and he was selling the course for like $1,000. At the time, I was like, this dude is selling the course for $1,000. Like, yo, that's crazy. Like, at the time, I'm like, it blew my mind. Oh, that's like as much as my rent. Like, how you selling a course?
That's so out of our comfort zone, right?
Right. At the time, I'm like, this dude is tripping. You know what I'm saying?
He must be sprinkling crack in them courses. Right. He must be real good.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, so that's definitely great stuff. So, of course, people want to know, you talked about a little bit, how do you retire at 37? You know what I mean? And also, feel free to, I know there's a lot of people from your page, so feel free to ask me any question about funnels if you want me to talk about any stuff.
Yeah. Well, first things first, I just want to make sure, is it cool if I cuss?
Oh, you good.
Okay, you know, I don't want to walk up in nobody's house disrespecting, you know what I'm saying? You know, Southern hospitality. So how do you retire at the age of 37? You get the fuck out of debt, okay? A lot, and I'm talking about bad debt. There's a difference between bad debt and good debt. I'm not on that Dave Ramsey shit, okay? Dave Ramsey teaches great, he's got great principles for getting out of debt. I will give him that. I've used the snowball and all that stuff, right? But the thing is, we're taught debt the wrong way. We're taught to get in debt and to shine and to show people up, right? Whether it's through our materialistic things or through our education. I have a master's degree, right? Now, fortunately for me, I had scholarships to pay for my education because I was in the military. But I have friends that have 6 figures worth of student loan debt, right? So think about it. 18 years old, the first thing I do is I go out when I get to my first duty station is I buy a car, right? And for the next 10 years, I bought a new car almost every 2 years. Think about that, right? 18 years old. Now, granted, by the age of 20, I had a 750 credit score, which is unheard of in the early 2000s, right?
Right. I'm still trying to get there.
I used to go buy cars in like basketball shorts and stuff. Like, yeah, man, you know, run my credit. It's better than anybody's, right? But if I would have bought a new house every 2 years, I could have been retired at 30. You see what I'm saying?
That's deep.
Oh, that's real deep, because houses out here, me and my wife done bought properties for 20 grand. Houses that have inflated 7 times. You see what I'm saying? So first thing I did was I realized that I had too much debt. I always had good jobs, whether it be in management or training. I always had great corporate jobs. One of my claim to fame is that I launched the first Android phone here in the United States. I was a part of that team. So if you go back and read like specifications and stuff, I wrote a lot of that stuff, and then traveled around and trained it when I was in corporate. So I always had great jobs and made great money, but the more money I made, the more debt I got into. And then I realized, Ryan, when I got ready to start my business at the age of 27, 28, 29, I didn't have no money because all my money was going towards debt. So I literally went through this increase by decrease. I teach this in my course. Anybody watching, if you click the link in my bio, I have a free credit course. I don't charge you a dime for it. It teaches you everything you need to know about credit, and I teach the principles of the increase by decrease in that course. But I literally, instead of going out getting another job, Ryan, I just looked at all of my money and started saying, okay, how can I eliminate, you know, expenses? And I sat down, and I've done this twice in my life. The second time I did it, I sat down and I eliminated almost $2,000 a month worth of expenses. That's another job, bro. So then I took that money and started rolling it and started paying off debt like super fast, and had like a ton of debt paid off in like 6 months to a year. And then I started taking that money and rolling it and putting it into my business. But then I started using my credit card, okay, and start buying houses and flipping houses with my credit card. People are like, how in the world did you do that? I teach all that stuff in my credit course. It's a free course. Like, you know, a lot of people say, oh, no, they charge you extra interest. No, we were getting like, we were pulling $20,000, $30,000 off of a car, 0 interest, 15, 18 months, doing what we needed to do, flipping or buying and holding, and then paying it off within 6 months. So I started using credit to leverage and build wealth. And once I learned how to start using credit to build wealth and letting their money work for me, it was the game. It changed the game. Like, if I pulled up my credit report right now, you'll see I got probably, I'll say 50 grand pulled on my credit right now that's going towards an investment that'll be paid off within the next 3 months. You see what I'm saying? And it'll be yielding me money, right? So when I tell people that, I was teaching people this stuff for years. They're like, oh man, you know how people do. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, you know, I don't know about that. I can't do it. All right. Then when I was like, I'm retired at 37. So wait a minute, what'd you do?
Yeah.
What'd you do? I've been teaching this. So getting out of debt, using debt to create wealth, and then making that wealth buy me more stuff, like making my money, you know, buy more stuff. And that's essentially it, man. Like, that's it.
You dropped so many gems just now. Like, I hope y'all pick up. Like, even me, like, I'm blown away, you know, because I be thinking about, like, how, you know, like you said, like, how do you retire at 37? Like, you know, people be happy to retire at 50 or 60 or stuff like that, you know. So you drop so many gems. And that's, like you said, that's not what we're taught. We're taught if you're going to take credit is to go buy a car, go to the mall, like do whatever, like get some flashy
bunch
stuff.
Of bullshit.
Right.
We were taught to hustle for the cherry on top and not the cake. And see, once I learned, I'll never forget. Shout out to everybody watching my guy Money Madu, my guy Mr. Marshall out of Chicago. Like, I'll never forget. I had a mentor. My first real estate broker. He owned a couple hundred properties. I mean, he looked just like Rodney Dangerfield. You know, if you remember Rodney Dangerfield, looked just like him. Dressed real sloppy, wore the little Hawaiian shirts every day. You know, just a big sloppy dude, right? And I'll never forget when I met him in 2002. No, 2000. It was 2003. He was driving a '98 Lexus LS.
Mm.
Fast forward, I see him again in 2013. I was going to go pick up some clothes from the cleaners, and I was in my new Lexus. And he said, "This is how he greeted me." He said, "Hey, what's up, Tim? I see you got a new car." And I felt the shade, like it got dark. Because this is a guy who owned over 200 properties, sold his real estate company for a 7-figure buyout, and then just sat around and retired and talked real estate all day just because he needed to get out of the house. And he low key was like, "You putting you hustling for the cherry on top. You care about being seen at that light for 5 seconds by a perfect stranger more than you care about the legacy of your children." And I was like, "Damn, man!" Like and from that day on, like I literally moved out of my house. Like a couple months later, man, I moved out of my house. I rented my house out. I got a roommate. I just completely started downsizing my life to just get out of debt and start putting money into my business, man. I was like, you know what? From here on out, every car I get, I'm either going to pay cash for it or let my money pay for it, you know? So like when I bought my truck was paid off in 2 years. I bought my wife a newer car recently. You know, that's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have time for the payments anymore, but I'll get it on my credit so I can keep my credit going because I still use my credit and leverage it to buy other things to build wealth. Does that make sense? Like I'm not going out paying cash. But when I say pay cash, I mean I need the money available to me at that time so I can pay it off right now. But I'm going to do an allotment for a year or 17 or 18 months and then have it paid off super fast so that the lender will see, oh, this guy, he means business. And then stay loyal to a certain lender so they can keep giving me more and more and more and more money.
Tim giving up the game. I think you need to start charging for these live streams.
Man, listen. They ain't going to do it. I be trying to tell people, Brian, I be watching your stuff, man. If me and you was on here talking about Young Thug got indicted, man, we'd have 100 people on here, bro.
Yeah.
When you start, you know what I'm saying? I did a video on Kevin Samuels last week that's got 20,000 views on YouTube. The video right before was, you know, how not to get scammed in credit repair, and I only got 100 views. Like, people just want to be entertained. So what I tell people to do, people like you and me, is while they being entertained, go buy up everything.
Right.
Go buy up everything. And then, right? Because that's what everybody else is doing, right? That's how they did this for so many years. Go buy up everything, and then they're going to eventually have to come back and holler at
you. Definitely. Because, you know, we was never taught wealth. And, you know, wealth and having money or getting money is like two completely different things. You know what I'm saying? Wealth is about ownership, owning assets, you know, owning businesses, like you said, real estate, you know, stuff like that. Credit and leveraging it to buy assets, not leveraging credit to, you know, go to the club or, you know, buy a flashy car and everything like that. And it's crazy in our community. Like, we think having a car or having nice things means that person got money. You know what I mean?
Man, and there's nothing wrong. You know, I tell people, Ryan, there's nothing wrong with a nice car. When I travel, or even here, I like to pull up in something nice. You know what I'm saying? I drive a truck. You know, in Texas, we drive trucks, you know. But when I'm on, you know, my wife has a nice luxury car. Whenever I'm out of town, I'm going to always pull up in something nice. You know, I saw you roll by me in Atlanta. Hey! I said, look at my guy, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But sadly, Ryan, in our community, people don't validate you unless you have that.
I know,
you know,
right?
You know, it's like when I go talk to kids. When I used to go show up and wear a suit and a tie, kids didn't relate to me. But then when I started showing up in Jordans and T-shirts, it was like all of a sudden I was this cool person. And sadly, that's the game. So, yeah.
And my whole philosophy is like, ain't nothing wrong with stunting and everything. Like, you see me pull up in the range or whatever, you know, in Atlanta.
Every time. I'm gonna do it too.
Right. But I'm always like, because, you know, my financial background is stock market and investing. So I'm always like, all right, if I'm going to get the new iPhone, I'm going to buy the Apple share first. You know what I'm saying? And the share of Apple is actually less than the iPhone. You know what I mean? If I want to go to the mall and buy 5 new pairs of Jordans or, you know, foams or Nikes or whatever, I'm going to get the Nike stock first. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be on social media all day, giving that my time, I'm going to buy stock in Facebook or other companies, Twitter, you know, whatever, Pinterest, stuff like that. So like, I'm always like, all right, we're going to take care of business first, you know, making sure everything's good and, you know, business and revenue. And then if we want to stun or we want to, you know, do other things, cool. But we taking care of business first. We doing the foundational stuff first.
Hustle for the cake, not the cherry on top. You can eat as much cake as you want if you hustle the right way. Ain't no wrong with nothing nice. I ain't gonna be looking like no bum when I pull up. But you know what, man? It ain't the thing for me to whip out the card and pay for the bill because I'm trying to get them points so I can go to Fiji. You understand what I'm saying? Like you gotta play the game.
Right. Facts. So I definitely you know, want you to talk about, you know, your shift now of like doing content and, you know, like you said, you got the online courses. Like, what was that shift like to like get into the digital space and, you know, start doing this? I know you're doing ads and funnels and all that type of stuff now as well. So what was that shit like?
It was the most uncomfortable shift I've ever gone through in my entire life. And I'm going to tell you, absolutely, it's the most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life. Let me tell you why. I'm a hand-to-hand combat guy. I value the handshake. I value face-to-face. I'll pull up. Anybody know Tim will pull up, right? It's a different world on social media because the values that you possess face-to-face don't apply on social media.
Facts.
People don't care about a handshake on social media. I always tell people I know so many of the right people, but I don't brag on knowing the right people. But if I go pick up my phone, I can call some people that blow your mind, right?
Facts.
But it doesn't mean anything if you don't have 10,000 followers on social media.
Right.
Like if I'm
Crazy.
reaching out to people on social media, like, hey, we have this mentor program. We would love for you to pull up and just come talk to our boys. Matter of fact, you don't even have to say anything. Just pull up and take photos with our boys because boys, these kids, they believe in you. And even though that you're just an entertainer, you coming to say, hey, y'all gonna be something would just make their world, you know, glow. Man, I can't tell you how many cats that kept me on where because they don't know me because I'm new to this social media thing. And so, yeah. And so then it's like when I meet them in person or somebody vouches for me, then it's like, oh, okay, Tim's a solid brother. It's like, but damn, it took all that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas it took all that, you know, so this is new to me, man, but I'm staying the course because nothing is a home run. Like a lot of times in life and business, we want to step up to the plate and hit a home run on our first swing. That's not realistic. Baseball is my favorite sport. You know, I always tell people a baseball player who bats 300 that means he strikes out 7 out of 10 times.
Dang.
But if you bat 300, you're getting paid $25 million a year.
That's amazing.
You see what I'm saying? So we got to think of it from that mentality, like tell me no so I can find the yes. And I'm just learning how to, one, you know, I don't take it personal when a person doesn't respond or has some, you know, they just don't acknowledge what I got going on because I know that my hard work will always get in front of the right people. And some of the right people are inboxing me like, man, I'm loving what you're doing. Keep up the good work. I've been watching you for a while. And I tell people, if go live, if 2 people on that live, talk to those 2 people, man. That's content. Because what's going to happen is when you finally do that one thing, all those hundreds of thousands of people that come, they're going to go back and watch all your stuff. You see what I'm saying? True. But you're so worried about it just being 2 people, like, those 2 people will make you a millionaire, man. Like, just do it.
Facts.
Those 2 people will take you to another level. That you know, I ain't trying to preach to nobody, but I mean, every Judaic religion talks about how 2 or 3 people can make a difference, right? So we got to get out of that. It doesn't take hundreds of thousands of people. It just takes about 2 to 5 people to really come together and figure out what you're doing to get you to that next level. Because those 2 to 3 people, they rock with 2 to 3 people that believe in exactly the way they believe. So they're going to spend money. They're going to buy into you. They're going to be your most loyal people. But you worried about what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? So that's my hardest thing, like coming into it, like, damn, ain't nobody really paying attention to what I got going on. I'm the shit in real life.
Right.
I walk into a room and call meetings to order in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, but on the social media, it's a different lane. And so I'm adjusting to it, Ryan, but it's really fun. It's getting addictive to learn different strategies, you know?
Yeah, and I like it. Like even when I sent you the flyer for this and how you freaked it and put the video and you had, like, go to my course. I'm like, yo, how Tim do that? Like, or your
I
team,
did
whoever.
that immediately, literally.
Right,
Soon,
yeah.
but that just shows you I'm not playing around. I'm taking it serious. Like when I met you guys back at TSP, I think it was 2016 or 17. I didn't take it seriously. You want to know why? Because I was making money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was good. So all that stuff that they were trying to teach me back then, okay, I liked it. Okay, everybody going up there cheering. You got these people that's in these boot camps and in these masterminds. Okay, that's cute, right? But now it's just like a word. Okay,
Right.
that's my focus now. Now I want to make seven figures over here.
Right.
So I gotta learn how to play this game the right way.
Yeah, definitely. And it's crazy. Like, it definitely blew my mind, you know, like the money you can make online and like how fast, and like it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something I learned in college, growing up, everything like that. And this is not me trying to brag or anything, you know what I mean? But it's like literally days we made 10,000, 15,000, or
No,
25,000.
brag. We
You know
can
what I'm saying?
brag on all the other bullshit. Brag, man. Like we're gonna have to, people like you and me, we're gonna have to provide an alternative to the fuck shit, you know, that we see all the time. Like people can get online and brag about everything else that ain't contributing, nothing to our community, nothing to our society. But then me, you gotta be humble. Man, fuck
Right.
that
Fact.
shit, man.
You know, so I never learned, like, they don't teach you in college how to make 25,000 in a week. You know what I'm saying? From like doing stuff online or doing a webinar and that type of stuff. So like when I was able to come into this space and see that, like, it literally blew my mind. The first time I had a conversation with someone that made like 100,000 a month doing online stuff and courses and stuff like that, I was like, how, like, it literally was mind blowing. I was like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you make that kind of money?
We can do this legally?
Right. That
That's
legally,
me,
right.
legally?
Like,
Cats
legally,
I
right?
know that's making that kind of money ain't doing it legally.
Exactly. Like that. So it was like literally like mind blowing. And that's why I dove headfirst into the digital marketing space and trying to learn everything and funnels and everything like that, because this literally is not just about the money. Of course, it's the impact, but it's like, it's just a different world. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, a lot of real estate folks you see now, like, they were doing real estate. Now it's like, I make more money teaching real estate than actually doing real estate. You know what I'm saying? It's like crazy.
Especially in this market, because nobody's winning bids.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If y'all getting value out of this conversation, do me a favor, drop something down. I know a lot of people already commenting, Normalize making loads of money. I know we got a ton of gems. If y'all got any questions for me or Tim, feel free to drop it down. Tim been giving y'all some gems tonight. Literally, you know, that wealth talk, the stuff that they don't teach you in school, they don't teach you in college. You know, you probably didn't hear growing up. So make sure y'all taking notes. Make sure y'all catching these gems. But if y'all got any questions, feel free to drop them down in the chat. Mm-hmm. So yeah, what other thoughts you got? Like I said, if you got any questions for me as far as funnels or, you know, ads or
You know,
marketing.
I know you and I had a conversation the other day about that. I definitely want to talk about purpose, because, you know, that's what I'm really, you know, preaching. A lot of people always ask me, how do you retire at 37? That's like, man, I found my purpose at 30, and I work my purpose stronger than ever. And I watch you, like, ever since I've known you, like, you've been locked in as the funnel doctor. Like, I clicked on one of your ads 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and I get, every time I log on, I see your ad. You know what I'm saying? But that's on purpose. Like, you know, like, why did that become your purpose? Like the funnel doctor, like that, it takes time for a person to sit down and say, I'm committed. It's like, why did that become your purpose?
That's a good question. Kind of a long story, but not. So when I first became an entrepreneur back in 2016, my first business was around finance. So my professional career was in finance. So I worked at a few financial companies. I had my securities licenses, Series 7, Series 63, but I didn't want to work in corporate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't for me, like corporate politics, like that whole game. It was like, it ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? So when I became an entrepreneur, my first business was like finance. You know, I wrote a book. I did the free plus shipping thing. You know, I did courses and just everything around financial literacy and like really trying to teach our people about wealth. And because most of the people I talked to at my corporate job did not look like us. So it was like, I got to put people on this game because we, you know, don't say we don't got money in our community. We just need to redirect it into putting in the assets. So that was like my first business. And, you know, to be honest, like it was a struggle. People wasn't on board with like learning this type of stuff, especially for somewhat young guy like me. I don't have a PhD. I'm not Dr. Boyce or anything like that. So it was a struggle. So like, I was like, I got to learn how to make money. Like, you know, point blank and simple, because I didn't have my corporate job. Those of you that have dove into an entrepreneur life, it's very hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may get some quick wins, you may get family and friends to buy your stuff, but like to have consistent and sustainable revenue as a business owner is very, very difficult when you start from scratch and you have no prior business experience, no funding, no venture capital, no angel investing, crowdfunding, none of that. Never been on Shark Tank. Like, it's very, very difficult. So I had to really learn how to make money. And then I really I really started liking like digital marketing, like online marketing. It was something I really liked. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, oh, I do this to, you know, try to figure it out. It was like, it was really, really intriguing to me, you know? So I just kind of got good at it. And then I would indirectly start helping people. So it was like, all right, I did my own little funnels, my own little websites and stuff like that. And then when I started meeting entrepreneur friends like Andre and other people, they're like, oh, I saw your ad. Like, who did that? Can I hire him? I'm like, well, I did it. I see your landing page, like, you know, could you do one for me? It's like, yeah, I can just, it was like literally like a side thing, like a side hustle. Like, yeah, you know, pay me a couple dollars, you know, you can PayPal me, I'll set your little landing page up. I'll turn a couple ads on for you because I knew the skill. And then after I kept doing that, I was like, you know, I was like, do I want to actually make this actual business? Like, do I want to do an agency? Like, I know nothing about marketing agencies and like that whole, like the business model of running an agency. I do nothing.
You start overthinking it.
Right. Exactly. So then I was like I do, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I want to do. Like, it's a completely different brand, different logo, and like literally put my flag in the sand. It's like, this is what I want to do. Cause it still goes back to my purpose of helping African-Americans build wealth or get to the next level. And we just do it through funnels and marketing systems. First, I was trying to do it through finance. It's just another avenue, but it still gets back to the purpose of
that
helping.
Shit is so teaching Black people financial literacy is one of the hardest things. That's the hardest job in the world, man. And a lot of people won't say that out loud because in the Black community, we have this fake notion that we can't be critical of each other publicly. Like, we supposed to be quiet about our criticism. Nah, fuck that. Like, we talking loud about this now because while we're being silent about the criticism, we're failing miserably out loud and statistically, right? And I was the same way, man. Like, I was teaching people credit. I was teaching people real estate. Like, and I had to make it funny. Like, I was like, the only way I'm going to keep people engaged is like get the fuck out of debt. Or remember I had badass credit awareness month, right?
Yeah.
Like I just would do little funny things. Like, you know, you got bad credit if, and it locked people in. And I got more response out of that because people like to be naturally entertained. You understand what I'm saying? But educating our people about money and finance, man, they don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear how to spend it, you know? And it's not just us, but I'm speaking about us because I'm me, right? It's our job to help our people first. You know, when you get on the plane, you know, you see, in the event of lost cabin pressure, secure your mask before assisting others, right? So you guys are my mask, right? So, you know, I have to make sure my people are right before I start trying to build. But man, I had to learn. I had to get out of Dallas with it. People in Dallas weren't trying to hear that shit from me. You know what I'm saying? And so I started making a lot of my money from people from Chicago, from Oakland, the Bay Area. Love me, man. LA, Atlanta, some people out of DC. And then once people start seeing me in different ways, like in different outlets on the news here, say, oh, Tim really about that life. But educating Black people about finances, man, if you can figure out a way to do that and keep people's attention, man, you are like the oracle.
Right. That's a fact. You know, but I love what you said about purpose because, like, that's how my whole entrepreneur career started, was based on purpose. Like, I was not happy at my job because I knew I had a deeper purpose in life. Yep. I had no idea it would snowball into this. Like, literally no idea. But I knew it was like, I was like, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew for a fact, like, this wasn't it. Like, I had a deeper purpose. I knew I wanted to help our people. I wanted to put something out in the world and make a difference in the world. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it was crazy. Like, it really was based on purpose and just taking a leap of faith and just trying to figure it out. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, get scared and nervous, and it's not easy, you know, walking in your purpose. But if you truly believe in it, you truly believe in what you have to offer, you got to go full fledged.
You got to, man. And my thing is this, like, you know, there's a saying, when you're 20, you care what everybody thinks. When you're 40, you don't give a damn what nobody thinks. And when you're 60, you realize when nobody thinking about you at all, right? And so a lot of people are so afraid to look stupid or to take chances. And it's just like, man, who are you trying to impress? Like, when stuff hits the fan, them people ain't gonna be paying your bills. After you pass away, they gonna mourn you for a week and they gonna forget about you, man. Like,
Mm.
go out there and get it. Like, take that chance. Look stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've made more mistakes. I've made more money making mistakes than I ever made more money playing it cautious.
Facts.
You know?
Facts. Definitely.
Because them people that's hating, they gonna tell you everything you doing wrong. Oh, look at him trying to do videos. He got a book in his nose. Oh, okay, cool. Let me get the book out. And then I go back, hey, go watch my last video. I had a book in my nose for 15 minutes. Like, you still gonna get value. Like, we give our haters way too much power. And a lot of those haters are imaginary haters. It's just you playing mind games with yourself. But we got to get out there and fail, man. How's my connection? Am I good when you're in?
Yeah, you good.
Okay,
yeah,
good. I got some janky connection, man. I live 8 minutes from downtown Dallas, bro. But we don't have no Fios over here. It's janky over here, man. It's cable internet. It's so spotty, bro. So I've been wanting to ask.
Good, bro. All right, shout out to everybody in the chat. Hey, Joy. We definitely need to be willing to hold each other accountable and be accountable. So I'm getting value from this. Yeah, this is great. Listen, if y'all want to see me and Tim do a live event in Philly, I'm trying to get Tim to Philly. I know he coming.
Oh, no, let's do it. Let's do it.
For real.
Listen. I used to have to go to Philly every quarter because I used to have to go teach a class in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So I would fly through Philly. Man, Philly treated me well. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. Philly was one of the coolest places I've ever been in my life, man. So, and I like, you know, I like hood shit, man. Like, I'm not the type of person that needs to be on the side of town where the Galleria malls are. No, put me in the hood, man. I like my people, man. I ain't scared of my people. You know what I'm saying? So, I would love to come out to Philly, man, and do a talk, man, and just drop some game and meet some good people out there, because it's a lot of people in Philly that's about their business. And I like the East Coast, man. I got bit by the bug, man. We went to DC. I went to DC like 2 weekends in a row. I was like, man, I love it out here on the East Coast.
Yeah, definitely got to do it, you know, because like even in Philly, like we got to do more events here because, you know, we always got to go, it seemed like for the most part, go somewhere else. If I'm going to an event, I'm going to Atlanta, even Dallas or Houston, or you know what I'm saying? So it's like we need to bring a lot of that back home. I know it's actually some events coming up and stuff like that. I'm starting to see more, but at the same time, like I don't think we have enough stuff here. It's like we always seem like we got to go outside or go somewhere else to like have a good event. So I'm like, let's just bring that back home.
Hey, I'm down for it. Shout out to my girl Rory, man. It's been my homie since we were like 10th grade, man. Her son graduated from our mentoring program. He's in college right now. But yeah, man, I would love to come out to Philly. You just say when. Now my wife is pregnant, so she can't travel after June 30th. So she hating on me doing traveling and stuff. So, but I can come out there and holler at you, bro.
No worries.
He hating, Ryan. Oh, I can't go.
No worries. We definitely gonna plan it. So yeah, I mean that's all like the questions I had. If anybody else got any other questions, or if Tim, you got any more questions for me, I definitely appreciate you just coming on.
No, you know what? Honestly, man, I just appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your consistency. Anybody that's watching from my page, be sure to follow Ryan. Specifically, if you're trying to start a business and you need to get your website, your funnel information right, you need to learn how to run these online ads. Ryan is the man when it comes to that. And his courses are relatively affordable compared to a lot of other courses, and they're very thorough and very good. Ryan's not out there trying to, you know, get rich off nobody. He's trying to help you build wealth. So follow Ryan. He's got great content. And if you're watching me from Ryan's page, man, give me a follow. I think you're gonna like what you see. You know, we you know what? We have to create more content that's genuine. I think people are getting tired of seeing all the bullshit, and they just want authenticity. when I created my purpose challenge, man, like it's just all about finding out who you are and what you meant to be on this earth, right? I tell people up until the age of 26 years old, I literally accomplished every goal that I set out to accomplish. And I was miserable as fuck.
Damn.
I had the job, I had the money, I was in the relationship, I had the car, I had everything that I ever wanted from the time I was 15, planning my life, saying this is where I want to be at this time, by this day, by this age. I checked every box, and Ryan, I was miserable as fuck.
Damn.
And I had no purpose, man. I between when did the Super Bowl come to Dallas? Super Bowl came to Dallas in 2010, I think. It was either 2009, 2010. So we had the Super Bowl and All-Star game. Man, I spent so much money during that period in my life. I can't tell you where that money went because I was just miserable. I was blowing money and living it up, going to the club, buying up bars, taking people out. Like I was just looking for something. And it was like, what's my issue? Then I read this book about purpose. I was like, damn, I ain't got no purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so then I started building my purpose statement. I created, my vision boards, and I started really honing in on what I was put on this earth to do. And my life changed forever. When I tell you, like, the trajectory of my life literally did a 180. I'm still me. But like I tell people, I was on the right track. I was just on the wrong train, if that makes any sense, right? That purpose put me on the right train. And that's why I'm so big on purpose. That's why I had a 21-day purpose challenge. That's why I give people so much information about credit. Because if your money ain't right, you ain't gonna ever be able to get to your purpose because you're gonna be paying bills. Like get your money right. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be able to finance your purpose. Like, that's what I'm all about. So if you come check me out, that's what you're gonna get. I'm gonna challenge your thought process. I'm gonna challenge some of your beliefs. I believe that many of us were taught a lot of stuff. It was handed down to us not because we had bad parents, but because they got bad information too. That was handed down from their parents who got bad information. That was handed down from their parents. And they're not bad people. They did what they could with what they had. But this is a generation that stops that bullshit. Like, this is a generation that says, nah, we love y'all, mama. We know that y'all did what y'all could, what y'all had, but we're going to research and we're going to reapply. And I'm going to challenge you guys. And some people love it and some people hate it. But most people love it. You know what I'm saying? The people that hate it, they weren't really fucking with me anyway. They not on purpose in their own life. You know what I'm saying? So come on over to the dark side, and take it and realize that there's something out there for you. There's somebody literally praying for you to do something that's going to change their life right now. You know what I'm saying? They're begging for you to show up. Find your purpose so you can start showing up and start saving people from themselves because somebody's watching you perform. You don't even know it, but you're getting people through right now. Your strength is getting people over some tough times. Just imagine what happens when you apply some purpose to that.
I love that, man. Listen, I love that. Make sure y'all is taking heed to that. Walking your purpose, me walking to my purpose definitely gave me the ability to change my life and the people around me, my family, my kids, and stuff. So listen, I agree 1,000%.
Yeah, we got these spoiled ass kids over here. They got dental insurance.
Right, like for real. Even my daughter said the other day, we was at the mall. I'm like, yo, you be getting everything. She was like, that's your fault for spoiling me, Dad.
Yeah. Our kids don't know what it's like to have to do it out, man. Like I tell my son all the time, bro, you have dental insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You've been to Disney World, like you've been to all these different places, man. There's kids that ain't never left their neighborhood. Some kids don't leave their hood unless they go into court or go into prison, bro.
Facts. And like you said, just being able to pick them up from school, or you know what I mean, like just that luxury. Like I was the same way. Like my mom, she had to work till 6 o'clock every night. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was little, like I was always last to get picked up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it was. You know what I mean? Because she had a demanding job and she worked like an hour away. You know what I'm saying? So even just being able to like pick your kids up in the middle of the day, like it's a luxury. And
I'm literally holding in my hand papers for a field trip this weekend, this Friday. Like my mom couldn't take our word to go no field trips. You know what I'm saying? Like it's stuff like that. But you know what? That's a blessing, though, Ryan. We put ourselves in positions to provide that for our children. So now it's on us to teach our children how to do the same.
Absolutely, definitely. I just want to see if there's any more comments or questions. I don't see anything. So that's a word. Yeah. Tim, my brother, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you having this conversation. I got to get back to Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Because even when I was there, that was my first time in Dallas last year. And I ain't even get to come. You know, I was there for like literally like a day and a half. So
Yeah,
I ain't
you
get,
was in Arlington too, man.
yeah, I ain't even really get to see the city.
Yeah.
I ain't get to move around like I wanted to. So it's actually on my list to come back soon. So I'm going to let you know about that too.
You holler at me when you get out here, man. I'll get you into the city, man. We go grab something to eat, grab something to drink, and have a good time, man.
All right. Yeah, man. I thank you, our brother. There's a lot more work we got to do. We're going to talk a lot more offline, but I just appreciate you having this conversation tonight.
For sure, man. Take care. Keep doing what you're doing, man. People need to see it, man. People need to hear it. People need to apply. So kudos to what you got.
All right. Thank you. So, yeah, if y'all watch it on replay, let us know. We are going to save this live. Tim, I'm going to add you as a collaborator so it can be on both our pages. And
Let's
then
do it.
anything, hit us up in the DM, contact us, and we'll get you straight. All right, my brother.
Take care.